So, I decided to platinum Liza P, and it was... You thought I was going to say tragic, didn't you? Well, you're absolutely right, because all playing this game on New Game Plus Plus did was make me more and more depressed. Mentioning the Nameless Puppet or the Black Rabbit Brotherhood would actually spark up some PTSD, I'm not gonna lie. But anyways, let's start from the beginning. We awaken on a train playing as the main character of this game, P. Yes, Pinocchio, as this game takes heavy inspiration from the book made by Carlo Collodi. We are thrown into a semi-post-apocalyptic town named Krat, where there is not only a puppet frenzy, which made all of the puppets in the surrounding area go insane and begin killing people, but also the petrification disease, which is also killing people. Anyways, enough lore. Let's get to the gameplay. Liza P is a very clearly inspired from the FromSoft Souls games, most notably taking elements from Sekiro, the parrying and deflection mechanics, and Bloodborne, the rally system. And I love me some Bloodborne, so I really clicked with this game. Anyways, I went forward into the first area of this game, which is Krat Central Station, and this footage is for my New Game Plus run because I forgot to record the first couple of chapters when I was playing, because I didn't anticipate me actually going for the platinum, but it did happen. Regardless, I do get my first trophy in this area, which is just for performing a fatal attack. I continued forward and activated my first Stargazer, which is this game's version of a bonfire, which actually netted me another trophy.
This is called a Stargate.
After dying a couple of times to the enemies in the first area, I finally am able to make it to the first boss of the game, the Parade Master, who isn't too hard of a boss, but I have to say, Liza P itself is a difficult game. Especially in the early game, because it takes a while to actually learn the combat, specifically parrying and deflecting, which I am still bad at, even after platinuming the game. Another thing that takes a long time to do is doing a decent amount of damage, and this is coming from someone who has 4 Souls game platinums under his belt. I mean, I beat Bloodborne, Dark Souls 3, Demon Souls, and Elden Ring, but none of them gave me as much difficulty as some of the bosses in this game. I mean, it took me hours to beat the Nameless Puppet, which we'll get to later. And this difficulty is something I didn't expect going into this on my original playthrough. Anyways, Parade Master took me like 15 attempts to beat him, and not gonna lie, there was definitely a lot of luck in beating him. Regardless, after beating the Parade Master, I received another trophy. We walk up to Hotel Krat and tell our first lie of the game, which gives us another trophy. After telling our first lie, we are told that our springs are reacting, which is referring to the mechanic in the game where the more you lie, the more like a real boy you become. We're then introduced to the maiden of the game, Sophia, who we can go to for some levels and lore. She tells us that Geppetto is missing and we must go to the next area. So we do. In the next area, we progress a bit and head onto this bridge. We find Geppetto hiding away in a carriage attempting to stay away from a stalker named the Mad Donkey, which we must defeat. He isn't too difficult as you can continuously backstab him, so he's not much of anything to be honest, but after beating him, we do get another trophy.
Come true. Seeing you like this,
After saving Geppetto, he gives us a key to the next area, which is literally just a run forward to the boss. But before fighting the boss, we destroy an enemy's weapon and get another trophy. We are then faced with another boss, the Strapped Watchman, which is a difficult boss mainly because he's fast and does electric damage, and I posted this boss fight previously, and the title stays true. He was an electric tragedy. His grab attack literally made him the Hulk and me Loki. Needless to say, I kept getting cooked. Most of his attacks would take out a huge amount of my health, and I didn't have much stamina either, so blocking just made it so I couldn't capitalize as often as I wanted to. Oh yeah, a way to tell if my gameplay is from my original playthrough and New Game Plus is either P having black hair or a donkey head on, or for my original, and silver hair for New Game Plus. Anyways, eventually, after many attempts on my first playthrough, I was able to beat him, which gave me another trophy. After beating the scrapped watchman, we head to the next area, Vanini Factory. Vanini is the guy who mass produces the puppets, and his factory was overtaken with him trapped inside after the puppet frenzy, so we are sent to save him. We progress in Vanini Factory, and we find Vanini, who tells us to defeat the King of Flame, who took over his factory. So, we decide to do so. We head over to the boss room to do what he told us. And let me tell you something. This boss is a terrible boss. Not in a design sense or anything, but I hate this guy. This boss took me 3 hours because I kept getting burnt from his AoE attack, which spreads throughout the entire room and inflicts a fast-acting burn on Pete, which is not fun because I'm out here using all my heals anyways because he already does so much damage per hit. I was close to throwing a controller at least 15 different times, but with my self-control, of course I settled on punching my chair instead. Anyways, this guy was aggravating, but eventually God blessed me and gave me a lucky run where I was actually able to beat him and got another trophy. I continue after beating the King of Flame, tell a lie, unknowingly avoiding a stalker boss fight, and find this weirdo, who will become more important later. Now, this area wasn't hard. I mean, in my original playthrough, I went through the entire area up until the boss fight on my first try. But of course, this was when I wasn't recording, but I expected it to be the same on New Game Plus. But no, it wasn't. I don't know why, but for some reason I kept dying over and over and over and over and over again in the first section. This was extremely aggravating, almost as aggravating as the last boss fight. But anyways, I still pressed forward and made it to the boss room. But before fighting the boss, I made a pit stop to Hotel Krat and assembled my first weapon, which gave me another trophy. Anyways, as you can see, I did not in fact first try this boss. He was even more agitating than the last boss. I spent another 3 hours just on this guy. He's a 2-phase boss fight, so he has 2 full health bars, and I will say, after fighting him on New Game Plus, he isn't too bad, but nevertheless, being such a low level at this point, and a boss having 2 full health bars is kind of wild. So I struggled. And when I was playing at this point, I was worse than I currently am at parrying, so that didn't help at all. I relied heavily on the Legion Arm Aegis in this fight due to the fact that it's a shield that blocks while you can still attack, and some may say that using that is cheesing, and my response to that would just be, yes. And this boss, along with every other boss I used the shield on, was a tragedy, so just leave me alone, bro, please. Anyways, he has this one attack in the second phase where he shoots a beam, and I'm not really sure if it's dodgeable, because every time I tried I failed, but that just might be a skill issue. Regardless, I ended up living one of the attacks, and that ended up being the run, where I beat the Fallen Archbishop, so hooray! But he also gave me another trophy. After a quick celebration, I waddle myself to the next area of the game, the Malum District, which is a dangerous place due to the fact that it is the base of operations for the Black Rabbit Brotherhood, which is a notorious group of 4 stalkers. Oh boy, I hope this isn't a Godskin quadruple boss fight. Can you guess by the tone of my voice what the boss was? Yes, basically the Godskin quadruple. It's a boss where you fight a main enemy, the Big Brother, as he is the only one with the boss health bar, while getting attacked by his 3 siblings. Now, I must mention that this boss spawns in one sibling after a certain amount of health is taken from the main one, but I must also mention that I was told that they take turns fighting you as a dual boss should, but I don't know if I'm unlucky or just stupid, but I kept getting jumped by them multiple times. I mean, the main brother, even after you beat the annoying siblings, still does a huge chunk of damage. And breaking his guard is extremely hard to do, considering the fact that he just eats hits. I mean, if someone actually is able to beat this fight at the level you're supposed to be at this point in the game, using a slower moving weapon like a greatsword or something, I'll be impressed, because the boss kept hitting me out of my animations when I was using those heavier weapons. But anyways, after about an hour or so, I was able to get lucky and actually finish off the main brother, which gave me a trophy.
you will pay for that.
Oh boy, I hope this cutscene doesn't mean that there's going to be a repeat version of this boss that's even stronger. Regardless, that's a problem for later. I went forward, found a painting of someone who looks quite familiar. Yeah, he looks exactly like Pete, just as Jiminy points out. After that, we continue forward and we get this beautiful cutscene. Watching this cutscene actually gives us another trophy.
Wow. I never expected.
Now, you might be asking yourself, Jacob, why are you keeping the run-through of this area in? You usually cut this stuff out, no? And my answer to that question would be, because it's my favorite area in the game. I don't know what it is about the atmosphere of Rosa Isabella Street, but it's just beautiful, man. I mean, you get a banger playing the entire time. Here, take a listen.
T'ai rencontré simplement et tu n'as rien.
Now, for obvious copyright issues, I'm gonna have to stop it there, but I'll leave a link in the description if you want to listen to the full song. Regardless, the first boss of this area isn't too hard. I mean, I first tried her after all. Oh wait, I didn't. She killed me. But, nevertheless, we ran back and killed her. So we can listen to the banger once more.
T'ai rencontré simplement et tu n'as rien.
Enough of that. As you can see, this is one of the many mini-bosses in the game that actually don't give you a trophy, but it doesn't matter. We continued forward, and we found this clown, finished him, and now we're actually at the final area of Rosa Isabella Street. Sad to see it go, but this mansion area isn't hard in the slightest. I mean, you can literally just run past the enemies, unlock the shortcut, and you're at the boss room. And the boss room actually has a pretty cool cutscene. Here, watch. After rejecting the King of Puppets, we fight him. He isn't too hard, but he definitely hits hard, and has a couple of attacks that I needed to be wary of, like his AoE attack. But low-key, I'm bad at dodging AoE attacks, so it's definitely just a skill issue. Regardless, we take him down on the first try. Oh, wait, it's a two-phase boss fight. Let's see how I do. Oh no. He's too fast. How am I gonna beat him? Nah, all jokes aside, we defeat Romeo within 5 attempts and get another trophy. Right after defeating Romeo, we get another trophy for killing a butterfly. It seems I lost the recording for this, but I did end up maximizing my Legion arm, so I got another trophy for that as well. The next area of the game was cool. It's what seems to be a museum, but it fails to live up to the peak that is Rosa Isabella Street. But how could any other area do such a thing? I mean, Rosa Isabella Street has everything you could want. Beautiful music and just a beautiful atmosphere. Anyways, this area I kind of just ran through just to get the shortcuts and get to the boss. The boss of this area is Champion Victor. He has 2 phases, but this time he has 1 health bar. He just turns into phase 2 midway through the fight when you get him to half health. But to be honest, he wasn't difficult in any way. He only took me 2 tries of my original playthrough and 1 attempt on New Game Plus. But that doesn't mean he doesn't do damage. He does a lot, in fact, and has some pretty mean combos. Nevertheless, I take him down and get another trophy. We then meet Simon Menace and Laxia. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but regardless. Simon asks us a question and I tell the truth by accident. It doesn't really affect anything, but I do tell the truth. They both give off a vibe that's low-key kind of evil, but I hope they aren't bosses later. After coping hard about the bosses to come, I run through the mandatory swamp area of all Souls games. Nothing is worse than the Swamp of Sorrows. I will die on this hill. Thankfully, Lies of P swamp area isn't so bad. I speed on over to the next boss, the green monster, whose boss soul is used to get my favorite weapon in the game. Don't worry, you'll see it for like 75% of the fights after this one. But none of that matters yet, because I was getting cooked by this boss. I would die over and over and over again. The reason for dying so much was not only a skill issue, but because the boss inflicts decay to P. Now, decay not only lowers your health fast like poison and overheat, but it also degrades your weapon's durability. And on top of all of that, this boss fight is a 2-phase fight. But not like Champion Victor. The devs really said, ha, we thought we were going to give you another 1 health bar boss fight? Nuh-uh. And gave the Swamp Thing 2 health bars. At least the first phase isn't too bad, but his second phase, bro locks in and becomes mad fast. He has this one attack where he hits like 8 times, and yes, I know this is a skill issue, but regardless, after my multiple deaths, I lock in and I beat the boss, which gives me another trophy. The next area in the game is actually the first area in the game, but this time all the puppets have been corrupted with some blue monster thing. I'm gonna be honest, I don't really know the lore behind this blue monster stuff, but whatever. We end up at the collapsed streets, which is a cool area in itself that I definitely didn't die multiple times in. The mini-boss of this area I do first try. They aren't too difficult, but they are worth mentioning, I guess. After that, we get to the real main boss of this area, which is the first boss again, but this time corrupted with the blue monster thing. But at this point in the game, I've learned enough on how to actually play and first try him, which gives me another trophy. After beating the corrupted puppet master, I rushed to Hotel Krat as it was under attack. We are too late though, as we were told that Geppetto has been taken prisoner and the culprits are the Black Rabbit Brotherhood, Aldoro, the guy you sell boss souls to, and some other NPCs you see during the adventures. Anyways, I craft my last Legion arm, +5 a boss weapon, and +10 a normal weapon, which all give me a trophy. P then cooks up on the piano as we go to the next area of the game, and I speed through the area because it's pretty short, all the way to the next boss, which is the Black Rabbit Brotherhood again. But this time, all of them have a boss health bar and are all buffed to hell. Man, I love reused bosses, I say with sadness. Also, if you're wondering why I'm using footage from the first fight against them, is because my footage has been corrupted, so I got nothing for the fights. Anyways, after a couple of attempts, I beat them and I get another trophy. After the boss, we choose to kill Aladoro for his betrayal, and we get another trophy after taking his cryptic vessel to the blacksmith lady. Also, while in Hotel Krat, I upgrade my P organs to phase 5, which gives me another trophy. Eventually, after progressing heavily into the last area of the game, I open the last Trinity door to get another trophy. After talking to the King of Riddles about Vanini, we go back to Hotel Krat and talk to Vanini to get another trophy. I then watch a YouTube video on all the cryptic ciphers and get that trophy as well. After making it to one of the bosses in the last area, we are then packed up multiple times by Laxisia. I'm not sure if I'm still pronouncing that right, but whatever. She has a 13-hit auto combo. Yes, you heard me right. A 13-hit auto combo that she does in her first phase. Yes, I said first phase. The best advice I heard from people against this move is literally to just run away, as it is harder to block or dodge that move. But that's the only move I really struggled with on this fight in the first phase. I was also getting destroyed by her lightning attacks, but bruh, her first phase lightning attacks were nothing compared to her second phase, as she becomes a literal lightning rod and has electricity pouring through her body. That keeps killing me over and over and over and over again. I know I keep using over and over and over again in this video, but bro, these bosses were actually destroying me. I then watched a guide on this boss that told me that using the perfect grindstone, which made it so holding up the block button perfect guarded and parried everything, which made the second phase a lot easier. Then all I had to do was use my acid spear and shield strat, and I finally took her down, which gave me a well-deserved trophy.
Sir Simon, only you with the one.
With her down, we go back to Hotel Krat to hear the unfortunate news that Antonia, the old lady in Hotel Krat, has passed away. Hearing this gave us another trophy.
Welcome to Hotel Krat.
We then head to my favorite place, Rosa Isabella Street, to talk to an NPC and buy the last normal weapon in the game, which gives me another trophy. Now, unfortunately, while recording the next area of the game, my PlayStation crashed and caused me to lose the entirety of my footage of the last section of the game, except some boss fights, which you'll see later. I have the nameless puppet fight, but that just meant that I lost some footage, and some footage was corrupted when I was porting it over to my Mac. But, anyways, this cutscene is the next cutscene that I would have seen had my PlayStation not crashed. In this cutscene, we give Sophia her piece, and we are told that the version of her we saw at Hotel Krat was just a phantom, that she projected to lead us here due to the fact that she was being held captive by Simon Manus. After giving her her piece, putting her to rest, another cutscene plays in which our hair color changes. This is due to the fact that the choice we made in putting Sophia to rest made P human, as he has real human emotions now. So, the silver hair just represents this transition. After all that, I ran through the last area of the game, died a couple of times, and made it to the final boss, depending on the choice you make after this fight. This boss was Simon Manus. After he envelops himself in all the ergo in the surrounding area, ergo being this game's version of souls. Now, believe it or not, considering the footage is lost, I did in fact beat this boss first try on my playthrough. After doing so, I get a trophy, which is followed by another trophy after we answer the question he asks after the fight.
Watch out for Geppetto.
Even after Simon gives us a warning about Geppetto, we continue to the last section where we meet up with Geppetto. Geppetto asks us to give him our heart as he wants to revive his dead son Carlo, who he is actually modeled after. On this run, I went for the true ending, so I refused, and we began to fight the true final boss of this game, the Nameless Puppet. Now, this guy is extremely hard. He is the first puppet Geppetto ever made, his body being that of Geppetto's dead son. Yes, I know, when I learned this is crazy, but yeah, Geppetto's a terrible father. Anyways, Nameless Puppet is a beast who attacks you extremely fast. He can literally two-shot you, which just added more to my depression. But on my first playthrough, I was able to actually take him down within 20 attempts. It was not the same on my New Game Plus Plus run, bro. Anyways, we get the trophy for beating him, and another for completing the ending with the best ending in the game.
Were you going to destroy Carlos' heart? Sorry.
It's so good to see you.
After the credits, I do not start New Game Plus yet, as we gotta make P cook up on the piano, which gives us another trophy. After P becomes the pianist of Krat, we go to Geppetto's office and read a letter that Sophia left us, which gives us another trophy. Then, we are able to start New Game Plus. In New Game Plus, I first try all the bosses up until the second fight against the Black Rabbit Brotherhood, but that's just because I kept getting jumped by them. Anyways, I do pick up another trophy after beating the third chapter boss and picking up the Jester I forgot in my original run. I then waddle over to Aldoro and buy the last boss weapon, which gives me another trophy. I continue through the game to get to the end, but before going to Geppetto, I play all the records and get another trophy. After that, I go to Geppetto, and this time when Geppetto asks for Peace Heart, I comply, and Geppetto revives his son. And we get another trophy along with a scary ending.
This finally feels like family. Thank you for returning, Carlo.
Is this truly the future you wanted?
After watching the credits, I go back to Hotel Krat and read the letter that Geppetto left for us, which gives me another trophy. Now, all that's left to do is speedrun the game, and after doing that, I get the last ending.
But a father...
No, I don't. Well, not yet at least. Because I kept getting cooked over and over and over again by the Nameless Puppet on New Game Plus Plus. He was already a hard boss in my first playthrough, but bro, he took some crack or something, because he was whipping out all the stops in this fight. I mean, he had so many different combos that just led to my instant death. I spent a total of 7 hours on this fight. I tried so many different things. Since my Twin Dragon's Katana wasn't working, I tried the Bone Cutting Saw, which also didn't work. Then I tried to combine multiple different weapons, and that didn't work either. After becoming fully depressed, I landed on using a boss spear, which I don't have a video of, but this ended up solving my problem, and I finally beat Bro again, which gave me the last trophy, and then the Platinum trophy.
No. You're just a useless puppet.
If you made it this far into the video, comment and tell me your favorite Souls game. But more importantly, I wanted to thank you for taking time out of your day to watch my video. I really appreciate it. If you want more videos of me platinuming video games, tell me down in the comments. And show me by liking and subscribing. All that being said, have a good one, and I'll see you in the next video.